I worked myself to the bone trying to impress my tech company until my boss told me I had to sleep with him for a raise. Hi, Reddit. I've been holding this story in for too long. I need to get it out. Maybe someone else has gone through something similar. Maybe this will help someone avoid what happened to me. I'm 29 years old now, and I used to believe hard work always paid off. That was the one rule I stuck to after finishing school, especially coming from a small town where opportunities didn't grow on trees. When I graduated with a degree in computer science, I thought I'd finally broken the mold. I was the first in my family to get a tech job. And not just any job. It was at one of those shiny big tech companies people dream of. Polished floors, fancy espresso machines, standing desks, all of it. It felt like I had finally made it. The position was junior level, sure, but to me, it was everything. The building itself looked like something out of a Silicon Valley commercial. Glass walls, open-plan offices, bright-colored beanbags in the break room. It was intimidating and exhilarating at the same time. I walked in with my little tote bag, a brand new blazer, and a smile that couldn't be wiped off my face. They paired me with a mentor at first, someone 2 years ahead of me in the same role. He was polite but distant and warned me early on. Keep your head down, do your work, don't try to be the office hero. I didn't quite understand what he meant then. I thought it was just a weird way of saying don't burn out too fast. The boss, Mr. Hensley, was this sharply dressed, always smiling guy in his mid-40s. He had that slick, confident tone in his voice, the kind that makes you listen even if you don't want to. He greeted everyone by name, remembered birthdays, and gave speeches that sounded like TED Talks. He looked like the ideal leader, firm, inspiring, someone you wanted to impress. So I set out to do just that. Looking back now, I think part of me just wanted to prove to myself that I belonged there, that I wasn't just the lucky girl from a rural town who stumbled into a tech job. I had worked hard for that position, but I would soon find out that no matter how smart, driven, or loyal you are, sometimes it doesn't matter, because some people don't see a colleague when they look at you. They see something else entirely. From day one, I poured myself into the job like it was the only thing that mattered. I wasn't just doing my own tasks, I was staying late to help with everyone else's too. Debugging lines of code I hadn't even written, cleaning up messy documentation, fixing deployment issues when it wasn't my turn in the rotation. No one asked me to. I volunteered. Every time. I thought, if I'm helpful enough, if I show them I'm irreplaceable, maybe I'll move up faster. I even started doing things that had nothing to do with my job, like making coffee runs, organizing the snack shelves, cleaning up after meetings. I brought in donuts every Friday and baked banana bread once for the whole team. People would joke, "You trying to be employee of the month?" I'd laugh, shrug it off, but inside I was just trying to be liked, to be needed. I wanted them to say, "She's not just smart, she's a team player." At first it worked. My name started coming up in meetings. I got praised in emails. Mr. Hensley even called me a breath of fresh air during an all-hands meeting once. I smiled so hard I thought my face would crack. All I wanted was to be seen, to be valued. And I was. But soon, that value turned into expectation. If the trash needed taking out after lunch, people assumed I'd do it. If someone forgot to bring their laptop charger or left their jacket in the other office, guess who they asked to grab it? Me, the girl who does everything. They stopped asking politely. They just expected it. Still, I kept pushing. I stayed until 9 p.m. most nights, missed dinners, skipped weekends, and sacrificed dating entirely. I told myself it was temporary, that it was all part of the grind, that someday when my boss called me in and said, "You're getting promoted," it would all feel worth it. But the only time Mr. Hensley called me into his office after hours, he didn't want to talk about a promotion. He wanted something else. And all that extra effort I'd put in, it didn't protect me. It made me a target. It started with glances, quick, almost too fast to catch. But when you're someone who pays attention to detail like I do, you notice. Mr. Hensley began staring a little too long during meetings. His eyes wouldn't just pass over me like everyone else's. They would linger. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Maybe I had food on my shirt. Maybe I was being paranoid. But then came the comments. "You always look so fresh even after a long day. This office is lucky to have someone like you. I mean, not just professionally." I'd nervously laugh them off, trying not to make it awkward. The power dynamics were so lopsided, I didn't even know how to respond. He was the boss, the guy who controlled the direction of our careers, the one who could make or break a recommendation with a single sentence. You don't challenge that kind of power easily. Then it escalated. He started appearing at my desk more often than necessary. He'd accidentally brush his hand against mine when handing me paperwork. He began assigning me to work late on projects that didn't require 2 people. And then he just happened to stay late too. One day, I came in wearing a simple black turtleneck and jeans. Nothing flashy, completely normal. He passed by and said, if I had a girlfriend with that kind of style, I'd never let her out of the house. I froze. That was the first moment I truly felt unsafe. I decided to talk to a couple coworkers I trusted. I asked around, carefully. "Hey, has Mr. Hensley ever been weird with you?" The answers were always the same. Chuckles, shrugs. "He's just friendly." "You're probably just being sensitive." "Come on, he's like that with everyone." But he wasn't. I started watching more closely. He didn't hover around the guys. He didn't compliment the other women like he did with me. He didn't find excuses to touch them or assign them pointless tasks late at night. I was starting to realize I wasn't being paranoid. I was being hunted. And the people around me were either blind or didn't care. It happened on a Thursday evening, just after 7 p.m. The office was nearly empty except for me and Mr. Hensley, again. He had asked me earlier that day to stay late to review some performance metrics. I didn't think much of it. I was used to staying late, and part of me still clung to the idea that this could be something positive. Maybe a promotion talk, maybe even a lead position. I clung to that hope because it made the long hours and constant tension feel worth it. But the moment I stepped into his office, I knew something was off. He was sitting in his chair, the blinds half drawn. A drink, something amber in a short glass, sat on his desk. He didn't offer me a seat. Instead, he motioned for me to close the door. "You've been doing great work," he said smoothly, "and I think it's time you moved up. I'm ready to put in a very strong recommendation for that internal raise you've been eyeing." My heart fluttered, but then his tone shifted. Low, casual, but deliberate. "Thing is, those recommendations carry a lot of weight around here, and I don't just give them to anyone." I remember the way he looked at me, cold, calculating, like he wasn't seeing a human being anymore, just leverage. His next words still echo in my mind. If we were closer, you know, more personally connected, I could make sure it happened. I felt my stomach drop. I just stood there, frozen, unsure if I'd heard him right. He smiled, almost like he was amused by my shock. "Don't act surprised. You've stayed late. You've been attentive. I figured you understood how things worked here." I backed away, my voice cracking. "Are you saying I won't get the raise unless I—" "You can call it whatever you want," he cut in. "I'm offering you a shortcut. Or you can take your chances with HR and see how far that gets you." That moment shattered everything for me. All the extra hours, the coffees, the banana bread, it all became evidence, not of my dedication, but of how easy he thought I'd be to control. I left his office shaking, and for the first time in my life, I didn't stay to clean up someone else's mess. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I sat in my apartment, numb, clutching my coffee like it was the only thing keeping me tethered to reality. My mind was spinning. Should I pretend it didn't happen? Should I quit? Was anyone even going to believe me? But deep down, I knew I couldn't stay silent. Not after what he said. Not after the way he looked at me. Not after all those small, creepy moments that led to that night. I wasn't just angry. I was disgusted. With him. With the company. With myself. For thinking hard work could protect me. So I filed a police report. It was terrifying. The officers were kind, but I could see the look in their eyes. Another workplace complaint. Another uphill battle. Still, they listened, took my statement, and encouraged me to file an official report with HR. I did, reluctantly. I sent them everything: emails, notes, timestamps of late-night meetings, even a screenshot of a chat where he'd asked me to come to his office wearing something less formal. Then came the real shock. I wasn't the only one. When the investigation started, more women came forward. Women I had spoken to in the break room, smiled at during meetings, passed in the hallway. Some had been working there longer than me. One had even left the company a year earlier, citing personal reasons. She shared her story, and it mirrored mine almost perfectly. It turned out Mr. Hensley had a long pattern of manipulating younger female employees. Always under the radar, always just subtle enough to avoid getting caught, until now. The scandal broke like wildfire inside the company. The media got hold of it within weeks. Investors pulled out. Upper management tried to claim ignorance, but the evidence was damning. The company, once hailed as a rising star in the tech world, collapsed within 3 months. And him? He was arrested, charged with multiple counts of coercion, sexual harassment, and misconduct. Last I heard, he was awaiting trial. As for me, I'm in therapy, healing. I work somewhere else now, smaller, safer. I still believe in hard work, but now I believe in boundaries even more. And if you're reading this, wondering whether to speak up, do it. You're not the only one. You never were.